Jazzcast Pros.
Welcome to Healthy Illness Podcast. I am Kelly Marie, your host, and this is the podcast to help you build better relationships while living with mental health conditions. I'm diagnosed and live with borderline personality disorder, major depression, and generalized anxiety. And despite those diagnoses, I've been able to live a full life. I have healthy relationships, a great career, and my mission is to help you do the same. So in this time, in this space, I find that in September of every year, I enter in this weird space that for some reason I don't see coming, and I always recognize it after it's gone. And if you have not heard the story about how I got to this place, I experienced suicidal tendencies and ideation for a while. And then September 3rd of 2013, a culmination of circumstances came together, and it was a perfect storm of depression and loneliness and sadness that I found myself in a place where I did not want to live. And so I decided to take my life and woke up on September 4th. I spent 2 weeks in a psychiatric hospital here in Buffalo. I was a patient at Bryland and woke up actually I'm assuming the emergency room. I don't know where I was at ECMC, which is actually the hospital I was working at the time, and was later transferred to Bryland for recovery. And during my recovery time, that's where Be the Light comes from. During that 2 week or so period, I came across Matthew 5:16, a verse in the New Testament of the Bible, and it says, "Let your light so shine before men that they would see your good works, which would honor your Father, which is in heaven." It is undeniably the first Bible verse that I memorized, even though I would call myself a lifelong Christian. I grew up in the church, but I think making the decision to be a Christian is something different than growing up in the church. Regardless, having grown up in the church and been in Sunday school pageants and all the things that church kids go through, that's the first scripture, Bible verse that I committed to my heart and committed to my mind. And it gave me the ability to recover at a pace that I was able to maintain. I did not have the type of recovery where I was thankful to be alive. I was very angry and very hurt that I was still breathing. I was still suicidal in that I did not want to live. I was not actionably suicidal and had determined, in that moment, since that I was still alive, that I was supposed to live whether I wanted to or not. But that didn't mean that I was happy about it. It didn't mean that I was thankful. It didn't mean anything except I accepted that I was supposed to live. But I knew that I needed to find a way to stay alive. And so that Bible verse, it was probably in a coloring book. That became the foundation for Be the Light. So when I say Be the Light, you now know where that comes from if you didn't know before. It came from Matthew 5, verse 16. And it is something I think people can understand and hold on to and grasp onto regardless of religious affiliation or understanding or belief. I don't think you have to believe in my creator or my savior in order to see the benefit in being the light and doing good and showing up in a space that leaves it better than when it was when you came in. Right. And so I find myself again in this position where last week, and I record, of course, prior to, the episode coming out. So, last week I didn't see it coming, and in a good way. Like I didn't see it coming because I was out living. I was in New York for the US Open and had an incredible experience. I'll talk about that and eventually post some pictures probably long after people are talking about are finished talking about this year's US Open. But I had a good experience and was out living life. But I had to get to that point, and it's taken more than 10 years for that to happen. And over the course of 10 years, each of the anniversaries has looked a little different. For many years, I still was unhappy and undesiring of life. I had no desire, no want, no reason, personal reason that I wanted to live. But again, I had this understanding that because I had done everything to not live, I was supposed to still be here. This time around, it happened again. And I wanted to make sure that I'm preparing myself for this time of the year. Or even, I mean, maybe I don't need to prepare myself for this time of year because I've reached a place in my healing where that's not necessary, but I'm not arrogant enough to think that I'll never have suicidal tendencies again. I'm not arrogant enough to think that, I'll never have another depressive episode. And so that is why I live a life of healthy illness, right? I know that depression is something that is still there in some way as far as my makeup or probability of having another depressive episode. Fill in the blank with whatever, medical reason or statistical reason that you want. But I'm not naive or arrogant enough to believe that that could not happen to me in the future. And so that is why I'm so persistent and consistent with pursuing a healthy life for me, for my brain, for my body, for my soul. That's where this podcast came from. That is where Front Seat Life came from. If you are aware of Front Seat Chronicles, that was the purpose behind Front Seat Chronicles. It's the reason behind, the Color of Crazy mental health series that we did. It's behind Destination Relaxation. It's behind the health equity work that I do now. It is the core of really my existence and in doing as much as I can to ensure that I am not in that space and place again. And with that, I wanted to just kind of look back and see if there's something that I missed, not in a bad way, but with the purpose of always pursuing health, that I could ensure that I stay where I am or growing from this place. And so I did come up with 5 kind of go-tos for next year. The one to help me recognize if darkness is coming as I'm moving into this space again next year, God willing. I'm here next year to be able to analyze whether or not I was in this space. And so I wanted to really evaluate and what can I put in place or just assess if I have the things that I need in place to ensure that I'm in a healthier place. And so one of the things I thought might be helpful was to set a reminder on my calendar, like for the next month, maybe at the beginning of August, right? For the next month, Kelly, make sure you're doing all the things because September is coming. I don't know if that's something I'm going to actually do, but that was the first thing that came to mind was, set a reminder. I don't know if I need a reminder, but I don't want to catch myself slipping, let alone be caught slipping by the hospital or ambulance or what have you. Being aware that there's a specific date that has impact on my mental health, the daily work may not be enough. The other thing is continuing to be kind to myself. And so maybe that is the reminder. Hey, Kelly, listen, continue to be kind to yourself, especially in these next 30 days or next 60 days, because you know that this can be a sensitive time for you. That I think is a little more in alignment with like where I am in my journey to, if I do set a reminder, it's a reminder to be kind, not a reminder that the anniversary is coming, but a reminder to continue to do the things so that I don't catch myself slipping. The third thing is to really layer my self-care, which I do now, again, on a daily basis in that work, but from a perspective of layering the self-care and being more meticulous, more intentional about the things that I do. It's like when you pour, the saying about, pouring from a half empty cup, to make sure that cup is full, especially going into, the month or so prior to this anniversary date. Also in that reminding space, really remember I'm learning still day by day. And this is more of a being kind to myself. Yes, but in looking back. So in this case, looking back, it totally slipped my mind. I did not remember. And that's okay that I didn't remember. I'm not looking to always remember that moment. But for many years, I had no control over whether or not I remembered the moment. It was always so fresh and vivid in my heart, in my mind, in my experience, and in my day-to-day life. I am thankfully at a place on this, healing journey and road to recovery where that is not the case. And looking back, instead of saying, "Oh, Kelly, you really should have remembered, really should have posted something, really should have done something or said something or commemorated the day or whatever. You should have, fill in the blank with a thing." Is to remember that this is a day-to-day process. I'm learning every day. I'm experiencing new things every day, even if it's the same thing. I did not experience that same thing this day in this moment. And so that, kind of harkens the work in mindfulness and being present, really working to be present even after the fact when I look back and say I should have, right? To take a moment in that moment to say, we're not about to do that. We're not about to second guess. We're not about to go back. We're not about to shame ourselves because we did not remember that thing. We're moving forward, right? And that is okay and that is good. And then the last thing is reevaluation and assessing. I'm a mental health first aider. It's a program that teaches folks how to provide mental health first aid in a crisis situation. And one of the things that we do as mental health first aiders is always assess. And that is a part of the assessing is, for me personally, using the mental health first aid tools is assessing and evaluating from a personal place. And so did I do the things that I needed to do? Did I do the things that I wanted to do in my preparation for September 3rd and 4th? Do I need to do something different next time? Did what I do work? Did the date setting prove to be valuable or not? Right? Reevaluating and evaluating, not from a place of being overwhelmed and overthinking, but from a place of understanding. Again, I am not naive enough, nor am I arrogant enough to think that I'll never be in this place again. It is my hope that I am not. It is my intention that I am not. But we all know that we can't plan for every moment of our day and how life shows up. With that, I wanted to just share this moment with you, that I have come a long way and that I am at a place where I look forward to things. I enjoy life, but I do enjoy life, which is weird for me to say, but I do enjoy life. That's weird. And it just gave me goosebumps, and I think I'm going to cry, but I'm not going to cry. It is okay to enjoy life. It's okay to enjoy life. So with that, I am going to leave you to hopefully enjoy your life, and I'm going to go cry. Until the next time, thank you for always listening and always being there, and for being the light for me when I'm unable to be the light for myself. If you're listening now, make sure you are liking, subscribing, and sharing Healthy on this podcast so that you will know when our next episode pops up. Listen, if you need someone to talk to, please dial 988. It is a call line where there are folks confidentially waiting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to speak to you, to meet you right where you are at the point of your need. You are not alone, and there is someone who is waiting to help walk you through this moment that you find yourself in. So again, you can dial 988 for a confidential and free person to speak with.